What is going on, everybody? We're back for another World Series edition of the Double Switch podcast. It is late October. Johnny and I were both expecting to be watching some random ass teams, playing the World Series. What we weren't expecting is the Phillies to be there, but baseball's weird, man. Weird stuff happens. Team got hot at the really right time, and everything we thought this team could be, they're doing it right now for us. And these past 4 days have been really long. It's hard to believe, we're going about a week without baseball here, and it just seems like poor planning on MLB's behalf. But the wait's almost over because tomorrow, for the first time in 13 years, we are going to see our Phillies in the World Series. Johnny, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Josh. It's Christmas Eve for us Philly fans. A Christmas we've been waiting for 13 years that just never came. It's that type of Christmas. But yeah, what's up with this wait? I could have been ready for it Wednesday. Just sign me up and I'll have the TV on.
Yeah, we handled the Padres too quickly. MLB wasn't planning for that, and obviously the Astros dispatched the Yankees, made quick work of them, and now we wait. The team just went down to Houston today. They had a couple of days off. I don't know if that's a good thing. You could argue that if we played Monday after Bryce hit that monstrous comeback homer and we clinched, we could probably have beaten anybody on Monday. We could have beat the All-Star team on Monday. That's how well this team was feeling. Time passed. It's hard to kind of come back down from something like that, but I don't know. We'll have our answer soon enough. Let's just get down to the business of it. Johnny, how are you feeling about this week? We got the Astros here. Tough team. Good team.
I have a lot of respect for the Astros as a team. We've talked about a lot of the teams around the league, but top to bottom, they're an impressive squad, and I understand why they're favorited in this series, and I completely understand why we're underdogs. Honestly, plus 155, I kind of felt like that was kind of generous for us because, top to bottom, they are an elite team, and we do have some flaws. So there's reasons to be nervous, but there's also the way we've been playing. It kind of throws all logic out the window.
Yeah, so when I saw the stat that the last time they lost was against us, for me, I'm sure for you, that feels like an eternity ago. But it's like a fact. They have not lost in. You're talking like you're going on like a month now of them not losing. We played them first week of October. They haven't played that many games, but those games they did play, they won. And like you said, this team's good. We're going to be underdogs here. It's something we're used to at this point. We were underdogs against the Cardinals, against the Braves. I don't know about the Padres. That was a pretty even series, but team's used to. It's a team that's used to being the underdog. So I think you can only put so much stock into that, especially now that, 2 teams left. Anything could happen. You saw the 80s 8-win Braves dispatch another talented Astros team just last year. The better team doesn't always win these series. That's the beautiful thing about playoff baseball, and it's probably part of the reason we're here.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and it really seems like the World Series and the playoffs are just whoever's hungrier. And even just based off of the reaction of the city of Philadelphia, it's the players, how much this means to them. And then you look at Astros, they expect themselves to be here and they expect to win it. And that's a very different mindset. And they definitely earned that ability to expect to get to World Series, but the hungry dog runs faster. I've said it before, and I think that's the difference in this series. If the Phillies are going to be successful, it's because they want it a lot.
As we sit here today, we obviously know what we're getting now. What's your final prediction for this series? How do you see this series going? I know it's a little earlier in the episode, but let's just get into it. 7-game series. How many games does this go, and who wins?
It's going to go 6 games, and the Phillies are going to win the series.
Okay. I like that.
Do you want my rundown of the games, or
Um,
we
yeah,
could do
let me
that
hear it. Yeah,
together?
no, let me hear yours. I don't have a specific rundown because I've come to expect the unexpected. But how do you see this each game going here? In
I
in your
won't. I
six
won't
game
go.
series win.
We'll go into depth about the games after, but I think game one, I think we win. I think Nola throws a gem. Game two, I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. I think we lose. I think it's going to be 1-1 going back to Philly yet again because this has been a ludicrous year. Why not? And then I think game three, Halloween night in Philadelphia, I think Power Ranger Suarez throws a gem. And then I think we win game four, lose game five, and then win game six.
I
Because
could
I
see
think we're
it.
going to lose the bullpen game.
Yeah, we pushed our luck with those bullpen games. I mean, you can only win so many of them, right?
Yeah, there's some crazy stats about our bullpen games, like the amount of runs we've put up in like those bullpen games, absolutely ridiculous. But
No, I
go the
like it.
Phillies.
No, I'm gonna go along with your prediction here. I'm actually gonna be a little less aggressive. I see the Phillies winning in seven, in what turns out to be. I mean, obviously the city's never gonna forget this, no matter what. But probably one of the best series you're ever gonna see out of a Phillies ball club. It's gonna be a classic. It's gonna be something we talk about for a really long time. You're gonna I don't have the games specifically played out like you do, but there's a world here where we get to game seven. Ranger Suarez starts. Aaron Nola comes out of the bullpen and kind of carves his name into Phillies lore, Madison Bumgarner style, and becomes a legend here in Philadelphia. Gives us a bunch of quality innings in a game clinching win in Houston. I know that's tough. It's all tough at this point. We're in October. At that point, we'll be in November, which Red November, right? That's what I'm talking about. But yeah,
Wow.
7 games, and it's going to be fun every second of it. It's going to
Josh,
be
you're giving me goosebumps, dude. The
Red
way this
November.
Red November, you're hyping this series up really well. That was a great sales pitch. If you should have a commercial.
I should. I have really high hopes for this series, and in a way, I'm kind of happy the Astros are as good as they are because this team's so hot, and it's really going to test this team, and we're going to get a really good series, one that we haven't really had so far. It's weird to say this, but the Phillies have kind of rolled over everybody. Man, that
Yeah.
sounds weird too. So many new thoughts here. Like we're talking about the Phillies rolling over teams in October, but this Astros team is not going to roll over. We know that it's not going to happen. So
It's not in their
it's gonna go.
DNA.
If we're gonna win it, we're gonna have to take it to a game 6 or 7. We're probably gonna have to go back to Houston, which is fine because I feel like we can beat anybody right now.
Couldn't agree more. I almost feel guilty looking into like the games past game one right now because I feel like it's like
It's like one
almost
game at a
disrespect.
time.
Yeah, I mean it's the World Series. Like it's almost overwhelming to think about more than game one right now.
All right, let's dive into that right away. Game one is something that we know quite a bit about. Aaron Nola gets the nod in game one against Justin Verlander, who is not as good as you'd think in the World Series. Let me knock on something, knock on wood. He has a over 5 ERA in the World Series, which is super surprising, considering that he's one of the best pitchers of our generation, if not the best. So that's one storyline to follow. Against Aaron Nola, who handed the Houston Astros their last loss in another moment we'll never forget, from this season, his perfect game bid into the seventh inning, pure dominance against a lineup that it's really hard to quiet this lineup. He did it with ease, and he's going to start game one, pushing Wheeler back to game two. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about game one tomorrow?
Well, Nola's that guy. He's our guy. If there's anyone, there's no one I'd feel more comfortable with representing us in game one of a long, long awaited World Series than Aaron Nola himself. I am.
What about his teammate Zack Wheeler?
I know. I know. That was my next
Okay,
topic,
all right.
Josh. I know it's a hot butted issue, but we got to trust Topper. And if you look at the numbers, Zack Wheeler on an extra day's rest, his velocity is up 2 miles per hour, and he is a lot more effective as a pitcher. I think it makes so much sense to have an extra effective Wheeler in game two, and you have a well rested Nola right now. Like Topper said, it was the common sense choice, and it is.
So I've said this before about Aaron Nola. I don't think I said it on the podcast. Um, Zack Wheeler is a much more consistent pitcher. You and I would both agree on that. If I needed to bet on 7 innings of quality start tomorrow, Zack Wheeler is a safer bet. But at their best, the best version of Aaron Nola and the best version of Zack Wheeler, the version of Aaron Nola is better. He is a higher ceiling pitcher. He also has a lower floor. But if he's on, like he was last time in Houston, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think we have a couple things going for us in a game like this. I know he's a comfort guy. He's a very shy guy. It's all about how comfortable he is in a situation. Houston's probably the closest team to where he grew up in Baton Rouge. He's kind of used to pitching in the South. I'm sure he's been to Houston several times. It's kind of his backyard down there. So he's pitching at what essentially is home to him. Louisiana, that whole region's home. I think that's probably why we saw him pitch so well the first time. Um, on top of that, Zack Wheeler is probably running out of gas. You see his velocity kind of dip late in these games. It hasn't affected him because he's so talented. If Nola goes game one and then Nola goes game five, whoever starts game five is going to be available in game seven. That's how the playoffs work. I know we shouldn't be thinking about that. We want to handle this series quicker than that. But I feel a lot better about Aaron Nola coming out of the pen in game seven than Zack Wheeler due to all of these constraints that Wheeler has right now. I just think Aaron Nola has a little more juice left this time of the year. And it's a move that no one's going to talk about. No one's going to give that thought because it does, you don't think like that. You don't form a rotation like that. But I think it's something that could come back to really help us down the line. We're going to get two starts from both of them no matter what. They're both going to line up against the Astros' two best pitchers. It's one of those moves that, like you said, it could go either way. I'd be cool with it either way, but I think there's a couple things in favor of Nola, and I think it's going to prove to be the right decision.
I think you're right. And I just to add on a little bit to what you're talking about Wheeler and his arm. I think we talked about it and even in, I think it was spring training when they're stopping Wheeler for a little bit, and then we also saw his little IL stint, and we saw that both those things were really big for preserving his arm. And I think we even used the analogy he's kind of like the Ferrari of our rotation, and you have to upkeep that arm if you want it to go fast, and giving him proper rest is very important because Zack Wheeler is a velocity pitcher. He's a power pitcher, and if his fastball is not there, his slider's not there. That's just how it works. And Aaron Nola, he's a command guy, so I feel a lot more comfortable with him on short rest always, even though he's not.
Yeah, it's 50-50 whether he has it or not. When he pitches has not it largely doesn't matter when he pitches. He's either going to have it or he's not. So our best bet's to throw him out there. He's our guy. He's been here seven seasons now.
Yep.
You just got to trust him. Now's not the time to doubt the guy because he got us here and he pitched in big games to help us end up ultimately where we are. So it's Aaron Nola's game, and I mean, all we can do is hope that he can effectively navigate what is a really good Houston lineup. Does this lineup scare you, top to bottom? I mean, We faced some good lineups
Yes.
in the playoffs, but do you think this is one that should really evoke worry in Phillies fans?
Yes. I say that I don't think that their top talent is as impressive as like the Padres. I think the Padres' star power is pretty unmatched. I think they have more star power than the Braves. But I think what's made like the Braves and the Astros different these past couple of years is kind of what we're seeing out of our team, like the depth in the lineup. Even like Jeremy Pena, who was supposed to be a replacement for Carlos Correa, has become a real star in the two hole, and it's that him becoming that good is slid guys like Kyle Tucker down the lineup, and yeah, I am very concerned about the depth of this lineup. There's not many easy outs. I think Maldonado is probably their worst hitter.
That is Silver Slugger finalist Martin
Shut
Maldonado
up.
to you. No, he's a silver. You know he's a Silver Slugger finalist,
I
right?
saw that and I cringed.
With his 166 batting average and his 600 OPS.
Yeah, and Juan Soto's a Gold Glover.
Besides the point. Um, no, you're right. This team can hit. It's tough outs. I know Jose Altuve's had a pretty rough postseason so far, but I mean, you can only keep a hitter like that down for so long. You know, he'll figure it out eventually. You have him at the top of the lineup. Pena, like you said, who won ALCS MVP. He was an afterthought before this. Not an afterthought, but I mean, you have the big bats, and he was a throw-in. He might be their hottest hitter right now. And then you get down to Alex Bregman, who veteran at this point. I mean, the guy can just put bat on ball. He's not going to strike out. He's awesome postseason performer, and he's been in the postseason like 50 times. It feels like so. Another tough
Yeah.
out. And then I haven't even got to their best hitter, who is you could make a strong argument he's the best hitter in baseball. He's up there with Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge. Yordan Alvarez is probably the guy we should aim to not let beat us. If that's a thing, I mean, teams, sometimes teams pick someone not to beat them. Yordan should
I
probably be that guy because,
I think
man,
they
is
would
that guy good.
I think they would approach Jordan how Houston probably plans on approaching Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I mean, if there's you're gonna want whoever's batting behind him to beat you. I mean, whoever that might be. I mean, I guess it's Bregman. They're pitch to Bregman no matter what. I mean, Jordan can impact a game one swing of a bat and change everything, just like Bryce Harper can.
Exactly. I
Um,
actually have a question while we're on the Jordan Harper. Who's more likely to hit a home run game one? In a non-biased opinion, I know you're a Philadelphia fan, but against
does
and
that
they're both facing their right-handed starters, so
does it have to be one of those two? Is that the
nah,
question?
I'll up and up. You can just say who you think's most likely to hit a home run.
Kyle Schwarber would be my guy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's him. He is the most pop out of the group, and he's facing a righty, and he's just the guy who can do that, just pop off and hit a home run. Bryce is in such a zone right now that he's just gonna hit it wherever it takes him. I'm sure Justin Verlander's not really gonna give him too much to hit. Doesn't mean he's not gonna be able to work with it, but he's just gonna take it wherever it's pitched. And Jordan didn't look too comfortable against Aaron Nola. That was the best version of Aaron Nola. But I think that Aaron Nola can probably neutralize Jordan with that two seamer that freezes lefties at the hip, and that curveball. Who the whole Houston Astros lineup didn't really seem to be able to get a grip on. It's not the best matchup for Jordan, but I mean, he's Jordan Alvarez. There's only so much you can do.
yeah. All right.
Um,
So Kyle Schwarber is your answer.
Kyle Schwarber,
All
put some
right.
money on it. This is not gambling advice, but book it.
Yeah, we're definitely not professional gamblers, but yeah, book it, Kyle Schwarber. I've learned I can never predict a Kyle Schwarber home run. Whenever I do home run props, like I can predict Hoskins because of his streakiness and Harper, but Schwarber I always get wrong.
Yeah, Hoskins would be another good one, but I mean, right on right, it's a tough matchup for him. but he's as hot as can be right now too.
He
So
is.
I could see that.
I could even see a Bryson Stott home run.
I can see anything happening. It's one of
All
those
right,
series
I'm
where
dreaming. I'm dreaming.
I can see anything happening. But let's get
I,
back to
I
this
have
lineup.
I
Go
have
ahead.
another matchup question though for you.
Okay.
Who do you think will last longer as far as innings, Nola or Wheeler, or Nola or Verlander? Sorry.
I'm gonna go Nola. I'll go Nola over Wheeler too. And
Really?
he's gonna get you deep in the game. And kind of like it's really weird with Aaron Nola because Thompson has so much trust in him that sometimes he gets left out there a little longer than he should. He's always been that way, even with Girardi. This past game, he went into the seventh. I think he could. We're probably looking at something like that again. 2 times through the lineup, working into the third. Maybe we don't let him face Jordan 3 times. We bring in Alvarado in like the seventh to face him for the third time. That's assuming everything goes right. But if this Astros team is firing on all cylinders, they're going to make you throw a lot of pitches. That's what they do. They take pitches, they draw walks, they don't chase stuff. And you can kind of say the same about us when we're going right too. So that's really a toss up, but I'll take Nola.
Okay. Yeah. No,
What
I
about
see
you?
7 innings. I definitely think 7 innings is. I think both pitchers go into 7 innings, but I do think that Nola. I feel like guilty predicting a game right now because it's the World Series, but I think Nola's going to let up less runs going into the seventh, and I think Verlander will have let up 1 or 2 more.
There's been times in my life where I don't feel the best about Nola, but for some reason right now, I have full confidence in him. I don't know what it is,
I know
but
it. I know why.
why?
You saw his hype video on Instagram.
I didn't see it actually.
Really?
No, I
Pretty
didn't see
good.
it.
Yeah, he
Is
put
it
together
good?
a little video. Oh, it's a great little mashup. It goes from like the '08 ball club with like music, and then it just like switches and it's like him like throwing gas.
All right, I'll give it a look. But yeah, that's not my reason. I don't know why. I just feel really good about him because I don't know why I said because I just don't know. I mean, I feel good about this game.
Hey,
I feel good about him in this series. Just we might see him a couple times. It's his
it's
time.
okay to have.
It's Aaron
Yeah,
Nola's time to shine.
that it is. It is Aaron Nola's time to shine, and it
All
feels
right,
so good.
back to the lineup. Jordan, Bregman. I mean, you have Tucker at the bottom of this lineup, who would be the best player on a lot of teams. He's a beast. He's a
He
30
is.
homer guy. That's a tough out. Mancini, Vasquez after them. The bottom of the lineup, the advantage goes to us, but top to bottom, it's a tough lineup. And on the hill, you have Verlander starting the game in this bullpen. We have Hector Neris, who's obviously familiar. But for those who don't know this bullpen, it's a strong, deep bullpen. You might not have the top end talent like Ryan Helsley or Josh Hader, but they have Ryan Presley, Brian Abreu, Hector Neris, Montero. A lot of arms they could throw at you. And on top of that, they have starters in the bullpen. Starters that we would probably be starting in game 4 if we had them. Luis
Yep.
Garcia, Jose Urquidy. Good pitchers, just top to bottom, just high quality arms. It's a tough rotation and bullpen to navigate through in a series like this. How do you feel about them on the pitching side? Do you think that's an advantage we might be able to capitalize on, or not really?
Uh, I I think our advantage when it comes to the pitching would be 1 and 2 pitchers. I think if you, I think those 2 pitchers have an edge over Valdez and Verlander, and that some might disagree, but I think a slight. But I think it's where we get to 3 and 4 starters, and then their bullpen. I think just sets it over the top. When you have guys like Jose Urquidy and Luis Garcia who can go length, you can make up for a Verlander or a Valdez getting rocked in like the 3rd inning and having to come out. And then you can be completely on track for the rest of the series. Because I think the Phillies have learned a lot about this the past couple series because we've gotten to pitchers early, and that's rattled their bullpen for the rest of the series. I don't think we're going to have that ability. I think there is going to be if something goes bad for the Astros early, I think there's going to be a bouncing presence in the bullpen. I think they're going to be able to stop the bleeding and keep the game on track and within reach all the time.
That makes sense. It's a tough team to wear out. I think that's kind of the word
Yeah,
here. You can't,
exactly.
like, it's a team designed for this at the end of the day. They designed a team that's meant to win a 7-game series.
Exactly.
And it's going to be hard. I'm definitely not disagreeing there, but taking a step back, we sound like we're preparing for like war here. What's the keys here for this series for
All right.
us
Yeah.
to kind of navigate through this juggernaut of a team? I mean, how do we beat this team?
Well, I think game one, and specifically, I think what any fan should look for is how's Nola's fastball looking? How's his fastball command? How early does he get that? Does it look really sharp, or is he missing with it a lot? I think that's going to say a lot about Nola's outing from the get-go. But I think it's going to be the bottom of the order yet again. Can some of those guys get hot? Because guys like Brandon Marsh, since the division series, haven't really been swinging a hot bat. And if some of those guys get going, then there's no pressure on Bryce in the top of the lineup. And that's when our lineup's really at its best, because then everyone wants to hit.
You might have just given me your answer, but give me a player that's kind of the X factor here for this series on our side.
I think Brandon Marsh, but I would also think Bryson Stott just as much.
Are you counting pitchers too, or just players?
Just
Players.
position players. Yeah, I think
Uh,
Brandon Marsh, my X factor. I think
Pitching
this
side.
team, Ranger Suarez.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Continue. I just wanted to see.
Yeah, no, because I think the last series we saw how successful this lineup can be with a cold Brandon. Like Brandon Marsh was cold. I mean, he plays a great center field always, but he wasn't really, didn't have much power going for him or even contact. It was pretty brutal. A lot of strikeouts these past two series. But if he can start getting some bat on ball, he has great gap power, and him on the bases is great. And I think he's just infectious for the team. And then Ranger, he's got to prove to the national stage that we don't have a disadvantage with our 3-starter. Because I think Ranger Suarez is better than Lance McCullers is going to be game 3. I think Ranger Suarez is better than Lance McCullers at this point. But I think a lot of people will disagree with me, and I think it's Rangers' time to do his thing.
Pitching side, I definitely agree. It's rough facing a team like this that has no drop off in their staff. I mean, Christian Javier would be a 2-starter on a lot of teams. That's the guy who pretty much Yeah.
Is he going to be game 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy who hit the Yankees for 7 innings, right?
He did.
He's awesome. And you match him against like Thor, and it's clear the disadvantage there. Javier pitches deep into the games and strikes people out. Ranger is the clear X factor on the pitching side. If he doesn't show up this series, we don't stand much of a chance, because you're talking about the bullpen game's a toss up. I mean, hopefully we win it. I wouldn't expect it. It's definitely not likely. So if we lose that bullpen game and Ranger doesn't show up this series, Nola and Wheeler have to be perfect. We have to win all 4 of those games. And you can't ask anybody to be perfect in a series. I mean, it's just not how it works. And on the hitting side, I think that we're going to have to kind of deal with this team in a different way than we have the other teams. We're going to face Framber Valdez twice this series. And if there's one thing that Framber Valdez is good at, it's depressing power. So we've kind of been hot with the home runs lately. Rhys Hoskins, Schwarber, obviously Bryce. Just go up and down the lineup. A lot of pop right now. It's not going to happen against Framber Valdez. We're going to drill a lot of balls into the ground. Contact's going to be important. Um, and who's our contact guy? If you look up and down this lineup, who's the guy who can affect the game without power? That's Alec Bohm. He seems to have an ability to drive the ball, no matter who's pitching. He's not going to hit for a ton of pop, but he can come up with those big hits. If we're playing the singles game or walks game, just base to base. They're not going to pitch to Bryce. Cassie's kind of a toss up right now. He's been pretty ice cold. It's going to come down to the bottom of the lineup, like you said, to make their imprint on this game, and it starts with Alec Bohm. He's the most talented hitter of the bunch, and he's going to get the most opportunities with runners in scoring position. I think he's going to be the X factor with the bat. And Rangers definitely on the pitching side.
Yeah, I think that was well said. I wasn't even thinking when you said think of the guy with the best contact on the team. I just thought of Gene Segura immediately. And I'm like, wow, he probably matches up well against Valdez in that case. But both of them, I mean, they have great back control. They can use the whole field. Even Stoddy, I think a lot of those contact guys in the bottom of the order are gonna. It's perfect for them. This is what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Framber Valdez is not a pitcher I want to run into right now.
No, but yeah, I mean, throughout these playoffs, we've won games by dinking and dunking. With the Braves, half that series was dink and dunk.
That's a good point. But he's really good, man. He's a really good two-starter, and we got to go through him and Verlander twice. It sounds rough, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's uphill sledding for sure with this Houston Astros team, and I mean that's why they're favored. But we're believing.
Yeah, we're definitely all in. As is all of Philadelphia, all of South Jersey, all of
literally the
Delaware.
whole country. I think.
Yeah, the whole country is in. I have Mets fans texting me good luck.
Weird.
It's weird that this is the one team that everybody can rally against. All the supports in our corner. Unfortunately, we've seen that kind of play out at the ticket booth because tickets are crazy for this World Series. I'll be there Monday. I know you're still looking for tickets, so hopefully you can make your way out there. But at least you saw the NLDS clinching game. So that was
yeah, I got to go to that the Real Muto inside the park home run game. So that's already engraved in my heart forever. But yeah, I mean that Monday game, that's gonna be a lot of fun, Josh. Who do you think's gonna have the best Halloween costume at the game? And what will it be? Because you gotta get pretty clever with some of these names we have on this team.
I'm expecting a ton of Thors, even though he's not pitching. You put Power Ranger in my head. I'm sure we'll think of. I'm sure I'm going to think of other stuff. Do you have any off the top of your head?
I mean, I'm sure Jeans will be out. I hope.
Jeans.
I'm hoping Sir Anthony's like
oh yeah,
stirs. People should wear crowns. That'd be very funny. But I think if anyone, I think whoever's listening to this right now, and you're going to the game Monday, you should definitely get a Power Ranger costume and then just spray paint Suarez in the back because that is awesome. And he's pitching.
Someone needs to get you a ticket just so you could go to the game and do that because I don't think I'm going to see enough of it. And I know you'd be all in if you went.
All in completely. Yeah. I still wouldn't mind getting myself to the Monday game just because I think Halloween baseball is amazing. And I can't believe we're playing baseball right now. I still can't believe it.
What's the run advantage at home? Like how many runs better do the Astros have to be us at home? 5 runs better? The advantage. I mean, there's definitely an advantage there. Do you know how like the saying in basketball when they go to when the away team goes to really tough arenas and like announcers and stuff say they have to be 10 points better than the other team to win? Kind of like that.
3 runs better.
Yeah, we're tough to beat at home. I mean, I'm sure Miles Teller is going to be at every game.
Yeah, doing his piano dance.
Who do you think is going to be throwing out the first pitches? I mean, we've seen just about the entire 08 team. Burrell's been here. Worth has been here. Shane's been here. Ryan's been here. Matt Stairs. I mean, who do you see throwing out these next 3 games? They got to be big.
I heard. I mean, it was an idea I kind of like. Manny Trio. He was the NLCS MVP against Houston in 1980. That would be super cool.
Okay, that's one. Who you got for the other two?
Cole Hamels.
Yeah. Cole's a good one. I'm surprised they haven't had Cole back yet. I mean, he's got to be available.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like not even that old. So
Wait, Jimmy hasn't thrown one.
he hasn't. I feel like he should have by now. He's always
Pretty
around.
sure it's because he's been on the TBS crew.
Oh, that'd be a good one. That might have to be the last one. Jimmy should be the last one, or Chase.
Honestly, they should just have Shane back.
Yeah, or Chase hasn't been here, has he? Chase Utley?
No, because the Dodgers aren't in the World Series.
Yeah, that guy's just giving up on the Phillies for now.
I'm so sad about that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be one of the big guns. Jimmy Cole. I mean,
The big
Schmidt
piece.
could come back. So, yeah, someone big like that. But it's going to be some big names, and I'm sure the bank's going to be rocking on a Halloween evening in late October.
It's going to be bedlam at the bank.
It's going to be bedlam in South Philly, in the Mid Atlantic.
Yeah, and I was gonna say South Jersey's gonna be on fire too. I'm sure everyone's gonna be drinking all weekend, getting off work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so they can tailgate and drink more. It's been a month bender for Philly right now.
It's been awesome. It's been fun. I hear dancing on my own everywhere. I know that I'm singing it to myself when I'm like working and stuff. It's fully stuck in my head. I'm all in. I'm all in on this team, and man, has this been fun. This has just been so much fun.
I agree, and my goal for this is really just to, because baseball. I mean, I think everyone that likes the Phillies to the level that we do. It's a lot of worrying watching baseball at this level. You're worrying about like the momentum in a game, how the pitcher's doing, are you going to get hits? And sometimes you kind of like forget that like you're in the fucking World Series. And I
Doesn't
think
happen
that's
often.
I think everyone should remind themselves that we exceeded every expectation. And this is free. This is like, it's house money. It's free baseball, man.
We've been using house money for a month. Like, we're playing with so much house money now. I mean, we could buy the casino. Like
we got rich off house money.
I know. Like this is just this team I will never forget.
Never.
These moments, they will live with me and all the Phillies fans forever. It's been so much fun, and it's gonna end here soon. Hopefully, it ends with a World Series victory. But I mean, even if it doesn't, like, it's just been so much fun, all of it, and I'll never forget it.
No, I'm already just happy for what's happened so far. This is just extra. It's just a cherry on top, everyone. But enjoy it and be safe out there. I know everyone's gonna be wild if success happens, but be safe and go Fightins.
Got anything else?
No, that's all I got. Just go Fightins.
Go Fightins. And you guys will hear from us after they return back from Houston. First 2 games of the series. So that will be Sunday. And I mean, what else can we say? It's been a wild ride, and just enjoy it while it lasts. Talk to you guys soon.